help West Michigan businesses survive the pandemic and the shutdown initiated to protect public health. From sharing information about PPP to establishing an independent grant fund and delivering food to frontline workers, the Grand Rapids Chamber team is working every day to help businesses succeed. Our business community has supported actions to flatten the curve, as protecting the health of our fellow citizens is our shared responsibility. As the state weighs next steps, we continue to encourage that more is done to position Michigan for a successful economic recovery, including finding a way to reopen more closed businesses and addressing issues such as property tax bills. On reopening, we see this as an issue of fairness, science, and finding a way to get it done. We believe that if industry like restaurants, public swimming pools, museums, and casinos, and others can find a way to safely open in some capacity in Michigan, we think we can find ways to safely open gyms, theaters, bowling alleys, and other industries. Michigan is one of a handful of states to not allow these sectors to open in any capacity. These businesses have been completely closed after months of the public health emergency, while still facing property tax bills, rent, payroll, and other expenses. This has placed businesses in extreme hardship, resulting in permanent closures and layoffs. We've all seen the headlines of thousands of people losing their jobs and businesses permanently closing as a result of the closures. Our members of these industries would be happy to meet with anyone to discuss how they can reopen safely based on science and the latest research. They have a vested interest in the health of their employees and their customers. We are not calling for a wholesale reopening of businesses, and we recognize and acknowledge that some businesses may not have the infrastructure or the environment to support social distancing, and so we will have to work with them separately to make that happen. But there are many that do have the infrastructure that can open safely, provided that environment for both their customers and their employees. In addition to calling for safe, appropriate reopening of these sectors, we remain hopeful that a solution can be found on the issue of property tax deferral for the severely impacted businesses. Property taxes are often the largest bill received by a business. This is a threat to long-term viability of many businesses, and they should not be forced to bear additional burden of interest, penalties, and fees for property taxes they cannot pay due to their closures. We applaud the legislature for their bipartisan, nearly unanimous support of legislation that would have addressed this issue. While we have not gotten it across the finish line yet, we remain focused and hopeful that we can find a solution and are working to do so. While so many businesses have stepped up in incredible ways, we cannot afford to lose sight of how this crisis continues to tear at the fabric of our local business community. Grand Rapids, Kent County, Michigan, and our country are built on the backbone of entrepreneurship and small business. It is sometimes easy to take for granted what small business owners do for our community. As the Grand Rapids Chamber works with Kent County on applications for the $25 million Kent County Small Business Recovery Program, our team is reminded on a daily basis of the challenges our small business owners are facing. With all of the headlines, it's easy to forget what it takes to start a small business. And we want to thank all those small business owners who are out there for all that you do to make our community great. You're willing to make the sacrifices and take the risks necessary to chase your dreams, make a living, and make the world a little bit better, and we respect you and appreciate you for doing that. Businesses most directly impacted by the public health orders, such as theaters, restaurants, salons, event and sports venues, have an outsized impact on our communities and make it a great place we call home. They have also been the hardest hit by this virus through no fault of their own, and have the utmost uncertainty when it comes to a long road ahead of them. While we are disappointed that we did not hear an anticipated announcement yesterday from the governor, we still remain hopeful that we will hear one soon. But I can't stress enough that soon cannot happen soon enough. These closed businesses need to get a pathway forward, and the Chamber will continue to do all that we can to continue fighting, helping them to have a fighting chance. We're not asking for anything more than to be responsible for our own businesses while at the same time working hard to ensure safety. That's what entrepreneurship is all about in 2020. As I mentioned, we have some great partners in Kent County and the city of Grand Rapids, and they've been very innovative in helping to support small businesses here locally. And it's my pleasure to turn this podium over to the mayor of our great city, Rosalynn Bliss. Mayor?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful and windy day. I'm really glad to be standing here with so many great community partners. And as the mayor of Grand Rapids, I want to reiterate my strong support for all of our businesses, our big businesses and our small businesses, as they navigate unforeseen challenges and obstacles that they face because of this pandemic. I am committed to ensuring that all of our businesses are afforded an opportunity to reopen, and to reopen with appropriate safety measures and protocols and plans that are deeply rooted in keeping everyone safe. Our business leaders have consistently demonstrated a tremendous sense of pride, and not just pride, but dedication and a willingness to innovate to ensure that our community indeed stays safe. We are not afraid in our community to come together and to partner and to collaborate across all sectors to find solutions. And we have done that in this city for decades. Our downtown is a testament to this strong legacy of collaboration. Working together, the private and the public sector has come together to rebuild our urban core, anchored by entertainment, our convention center, Van Andel Arena, DeVos Place, 20 Monroe Live, the intersection, and the newest development, which is where we all stand today, Studio Park. The continued success of our entire downtown, our city, and our region is reliant upon the safe and limited reopening of these venues and businesses. Our local economy is not just one or two sectors. It is intricately intertwined, as these spaces create energy and customers for all of our smaller businesses that surround them. A great example is right here, Malamaya Juice. They have a positive impact when this space is filled with people and customers. The innovative and collaborative spirit is further exemplified by the history of this development. Studio Park is a mixed-use project that combines entertainment and housing and retail and restaurants, and it represents $140 million of private investment right here in our downtown, which is one of the largest investments in recent history. Studio Park. Many of you have walked through these doors. You were here for the groundbreaking. You were here for the ribbon cutting. They were open for less than 6 months before being shuttered by COVID-19. They have been devastated by the continued closure of our theaters and indoor concert venues. I am standing here today because I am confident that entertainment venues like Studio Park, as well as our local gyms and our bowling alleys and our YMCA and others, can indeed open safely, as long as they have appropriate safety protocols in place. Just as we have seen this happen. All the other businesses that are currently open, that have been allowed to open, They have done so safely, and they have done so in partnership with one another. They have made commitments to working together to make sure that our community stays safe. We can do both. We can create safe spaces, we can follow public health precautions, and we can support our businesses in recovering from this global pandemic. We need to do that to support our local economy. And we are really fortunate in this community to have so many great partners. And a strong partner of mine, not just personally, but even at the city, is our county. So I'm delighted to invite up to the podium next our county chair board, Mandy.
Good afternoon. Thank you for coming. We're here today because we're standing up for Kent County small businesses and the jobs they provide to our friends and family. Mayor Bliss and I wrote a letter to the governor because we know it's our job to share what we hear and see on the ground in Main Street up to state government. We want to be sure the governor knows both how badly we're suffering, our businesses are suffering, but also that they can open safely, they can innovate, they can be creative, and they can do this. In Kent County, we work together and we collaborate. Our health department worked with companies like Meyer and Spectrum to create a free screening tool for companies in our county. That averted almost 900 employees going to work with symptoms just here in Kent County. We can do this, but we have to take action before many of these businesses close and the jobs are gone forever. The effect of a closed business isn't just a bankrupt entrepreneur or a shuttered storefront. It means a working mom without an income, it's rent or a mortgage that isn't paid, it's food that families can't afford. I'm proud of our community and our county board and the efforts we've taken so far with our business grant. We are here committed to these companies and to our economy and to our community. But if this persists, we all will go back to the drawing board and we will come up with other solutions for our community and for these businesses, and we will redouble our efforts. We will do what we do best in West Michigan, and it is work together collaboratively in a bipartisan way to find local solutions. Now I'll turn it over to Emily Lokes.
Hello. It's been some whiplash of a year this year. The last time that I stood at a lectern in this piazza, there were lightsabers and ribbons with flash paper involved, and we were opening up a lot of different parts of this business ecosystem here at Studio Park. Studio C, our family of companies, was taking by far the biggest swing in our history, launching everything here. And we'd asked so much of our team, and we'd envisioned that 2020 was going to be a year of fully living into all of this new growth. Then March came, and on March 16th, for the first time in our company's 75-year history, we shut everything down, including all 11 of our Celebration Cinema theaters that operate here in West and Central Michigan. With COVID-19 on the horizon, there were named and urgent problems to solve. Flatten the curve, quickly gain as much knowledge as we could about understanding about this virus and its spread, and not overload our medical systems and hospitals. Our state and our city have done an incredible job allowing for phase 4 businesses similar in operations and scale to our own to be able to reopen with safety protocols involving cleaning, training, spacing, and the use of personal protective equipment that have now become normative. In collaboration with our industry, convened and led by the National Association of Theater Owners, we began work in March to gain clarity about how to function in this new space and time. Movie exhibition, perhaps even more so than some other industries, functions synchronously as a national and even an international industry with new movie openings. It is in all of our interest to not be sloppy about this. It's in all of our interest to get this right. And more than 300 companies have voluntarily signed on to the Cinema Safe standards that both meet and exceed guidelines provided by the CDC and our local health departments. And they have been effective. Movie theaters in 46 states have now opened and have not been identified as a source of spread. Epidemiologically speaking, there seem to be a number of factors working in our favor. We have high ceilings. We have robust HVAC systems with fresh air intake. With reserved seating, we have easy and automated ways of being able to limit capacity and separate groups to comply with CDC and health department guidelines. And also, people are seated. They're facing a screen, and by and large, they're not speaking with other groups other than the grouping that they came with. So in Michigan, it's our firm belief that movie theaters have been incorrectly aligned with Phase 5 openings like multi-thousand person stadiums where large crowds all convene for a single event. And that's simply not how we operate or function. With current health department distancing guidelines, all but 2 of our about 150 theater auditoriums would operate with a maximum capacity of about 25 to 85 people. Showtimes are staggered, and we can minimize lines by elevating use of our online ticketing platforms. We'll be putting our focus into in-theater service, bringing food and beverage directly to people's seats, and there's going to be some new standards that people are going to enjoy so much that they'll never want to go back to the old ways that we functioned. The timing has become urgent. Closing our doors has come at considerable cost, with losses of close to $1 million a month for our company, and our options have become limited. Most painfully, we've needed to put close to 95% of our team on furlough. With some of the unemployment support from the CARES Act coming to a staggering close towards the end of July, more than 200 individuals, which is close to a quarter of our team, have left to take other jobs. These are not easily replaceable cogs in some machine. These are the people who know how to make the magic happen. Some have built decades of technical expertise specific to our industry. They have deep-rooted community relationships, and above all, they have a heart for celebrated service. We've been able to prioritize extending health benefits for 150 days, but we cannot sustain that if we cannot get theaters open and more of our team back on payroll in the next several days. The timing has become urgent. Now, Michigan is amongst only 4 states with theaters not open. Our industry is moving ahead without us. New movies have recently begun to be released. Tenet, which opens a week ago in Canada and will open in U.S. theaters this weekend, will likely be the biggest movie of the fall. It's fantastic, and it deserves to be seen in theaters. We're grateful that the director, Christopher Nolan, has been insistent that it be released in no other way. We want and need Michigan audiences to have the opportunity to see this movie in our theaters. We're a Michigan company, and that's significant. We collaborate with other businesses and Michigan companies, from web developers to breweries to a young guy in Mount Pleasant who designed and patented the lid to our Shake and Share bucket, popcorn bucket. We partner with and we support countless community organizations and initiatives. As a regional company, we're looked to with curiosity, with admiration and respect from our national peers in the industry. We do things differently, and we do things well. We're not easily replaceable. I want our local and state leadership to know we care about what you care about. We want the curve to stay flattened. We want to open in a way that is responsible and sustainable. Our family company has invested in Michigan communities for 75 years. At the movies, we get a chance to not feel so alone and to see just how big our world is. This is increasingly important, and our team is excited to get back to work. We want to be part of the story and the decisions that see our community, our team, and companies like ours through to the other side of this as strong and as healthy as possible. Thank you.
afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me today. My name is Leah Bush, and I'm the proud owner of an Orange Theory fitness studio. We're located in Northeast Grand Rapids. The reason I wanted to open an Orange Theory was because one of my core beliefs is that in order for individuals to really get the most out of their life, intentional health and fitness is going to be part of that story. And beyond that, I think intentionally healthy people then go on to create a vital and healthy community. And that is where my passion came to start this business. The past 5 months have been extremely difficult for so many people, us included. Our studio in particular had been open just under 2 years before we were forced to close our doors. Just kind of getting our feet under us, and things were really starting to click along before COVID-19. It is discouraging to wake up every day and really see no light at the end of this tunnel. It's hard to make decisions, and it's very hard to wonder, was this even worth it? All of the time, money, emotional investment of my family, and so many in our community to get the studio going, it makes you wonder. The lessons we're trying to teach our children about the benefits of hard work and investment in the community feel a little hollow right now. We're just not seeing that. I do completely understand that we cannot open our doors and go back to business as usual. That's not what we're asking. Being in a health-conscious industry, I'm 100% committed to the safety of our amazing team, of our members, many of which are still being directly affected by our continued closure. Our staff and members understand that things will look different. We will have new practices that we will be doing each and every day. Some examples of extra disinfecting, limited class sizes, being able to keep our social distance at the studio. These are just a few of many practices that we're ready to implement. Temperature checks. We also know that Orange Theory locations all across the country are currently successfully implementing these practices and are able to execute a safe workout experience. This is a unique time, and we want to deliver that unique workout and get back to proactively helping people enhance their health, and both physical and emotional health, so that we can then proactively enhance the health of our community as a whole. So we are ready to join those studios here in Michigan. I know that many hard decisions have had to be made over the past 5 months. I do want to assure Grand Rapids and the state of Michigan that we actually have a common goal. We want the health and safety of the people of this great state to remain a top priority, and we want to be part of that story. My studio and other Orange Theory locations all across Michigan are eager to get open and to get back to the business, like I said, proactively creating a healthy life before it's too late. To answer my own question, was it even worth it? Financially, that it's too soon to tell. But really what keeps me going right now is picturing the faces of my hardworking team, many who continue to just hang in the balance and wait. And then also anticipating getting back to seeing my members. Really the people of our community is what makes Orange Theory feel like one big family here in Grand Rapids. Thanks so much for having me today.
Thank you all for your comments. Thank you all for joining us today. We certainly appreciate you being here. The message from us is clear. The business community, true to form, has stepped up to do what they need to do to adapt to the challenging times created by this pandemic. But more businesses need to be allowed to also step up and be a part of this journey for economic recovery for Michigan. We need to empower our businesses and our entrepreneurs to do what they can do to provide a safe environment for their customers and their employees. And you heard it from them today that they are committed to doing that, and we've seen it play out in multiple businesses in our community for the last several months. We'd be happy to take some questions, particularly of our business owners, because sometimes they're a little harder to reach than the three of us. But I do want to say that it's not lost on me that I happen to be standing up here with three very powerful women in our community, and we're grateful for all of the work that you do to lead our community. Questions from the media? And I know that each one of them will be also willing to take individual interviews as well, if there are no questions in general. All right? Thank you.